The cost of buildings and other construction projects in Nigeria has continued to rise as most of the building materials used in the construction of the buildings are imported. This is happening as population of Nigeria continues to weigh heavily on available housing. Importation and thirst for foreign materials in Nigeria has since been a cause for concern and worry, and little is being done to curb this ugly scenario. Why do importers and material suppliers prefer them to locally produced materials? What effects would this importation have with the global spread of COVID-19? Welcome to Housing Development, your go-to source for trending housing information in Nigeria. Today on the program, we shall take a look at COVID-19, dangers in importation of building materials. How close can one build a house near electricity power lines, substations, transformers, or even gas plants? This and more will come your way right after the trending news in the housing sector.
Nigeria's Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, has called on the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Bello, to order the conversion of some vacant houses in the Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, to isolation centers for victims of the prevalent coronavirus pandemic. According to the group, it is time for the minister to spring into action and grant access to some of the buildings which have been vacant and unclaimed for many years in the city. The group president, Festus Adebayo, who commended the FCT minister for proactively responding to the COVID-19 management, stated that the Nigerian health sector lacks the capacity to cater for the victims, which are bound to increase on a daily basis, suggesting that the vacant and unoccupied buildings in the FCT will be instrumental as urgent isolation centers for coronavirus patients. The management of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, has debunked media reports alleging a 360 billion naira fraud at the bank. This was revealed in a statement issued by the bank and signed by FMBN's group head, Corporate Communications, Ahmed Abubakar. As contained in the statement, the bank stated that the allegation is false, baseless, and totally misleading, imploring the general public to note that the board and executive management of FMBN have championed the principles of professionalism and transparency in running the affairs of the bank through regular updates on its operations. Indications have emerged that the fate of the owners of the over 100 houses burnt by the recent gas explosion in Lagos recently remains uncertain, as regulatory and approval issues may deny them ownership of what used to be their properties. Findings revealed that the fate of these property owners remain uncertain owing to the fact that many of the burnt houses do not have proper building permits and plan approvals. It was gathered that sources within the state government and the Federal Housing Authority, FHA, suggest that there are deliberations ongoing that may deny redevelopment approvals for the affected properties. A source within the FHA hinted that many of the affected houses were built on gas pipelines and there were no regulations or building approvals, leaving the owners and developers of the properties culpable.
I am Dr. Sam Regu, Senate Committee Chairman on Housing. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Abuja International Housing Show.
It's about the whole of Nigeria, whole of West Africa. You have stakeholders coming from all over and in fact globally.
It's an excellent way of bringing thought leaders, investors
to come together and figure out ways to increase capacity in developing housing.
Those were the major headline news in the housing sector. When it comes to obtaining building materials, real estate developers often buy globally, not locally. But as the coronavirus spreads across the world, bringing countries to a standstill, the lack of access to overseas supplies is sending jitters through the construction industry. In an era where importation may not be safe with respect to the prevailing coronavirus pandemic happening world over, it is time to start using locally produced building materials. Now take a listen to this report.
As Nigeria's population continues to grow geometrically, estimated at around 200 million persons, and with an annual growth rate of 2.6%, the need to build more and more houses to accommodate this population has become pressing. Insights received through surveys and research endeavors reveal that most building materials in Nigeria are sourced mostly from other countries of the world, especially the Asian giant China. With local building materials accounting for about 37% of materials in the Nigerian market, imported materials constitute 23 and 40% for both combined local and imported products. Statistics obtained from the Raw Materials Research and Development Council (RMRDC) show that between 2010 and 2015, Nigeria spent billions of naira on the importation of building materials due to overdependence on imports. This has become an issue as little is being done to stimulate and encourage the production, use, and standardization of local building materials in the country, especially in an era where importation may not be safe with respect to the prevailing coronavirus pandemic happening world over. Experts have spoken on the need to support and promote the use of local content and building materials in compliance with Nigeria's Executive Order No. 5, which aims to improve local content in public procurement with science, engineering, and technology components, especially in the wake of COVID-19 in Nigeria.
Locally used material has its own advantage a lot. The more you use something, the more the person becomes perfect in producing it. At the beginning, it might not look nice, but once you patronize such product, it encourages the person producing it to do more. Where he discovered mistake, he can work towards rectifying it. And in compliance to Presidential Order No. 5, that Presidential Order No. 5, which stipulates that we should go back to local content. This local content, by so doing, it is reserved and safe foreign exchange. A large amount of money that is spent in foreign exchange is conserved using local materials. And let me give you an example of this laterite blocks we are talking about. It is produced locally using natural laterite, and this laterite has thermal property that is very, very conducive. Building constructed using laterite, you discover that the environment, the harsh condition is very good in tropical areas where the temperature is high.
Even as the country charts out courses towards tackling coronavirus headlong, adequate attention must be paid to not only the immigration of persons into the country, but also the importation of products such as building materials that may serve as vehicles aiding the spread of COVID-19 into the country. And one sure way to do this is to foster support for locally produced products and materials in the country.
I wholeheartedly endorse you watching the program because obviously housing is the center of people's life.
Housing development must be set in the context of a rigorous economic as well as urban, spatial, regional planning.
Obviously, we can't not do this. We have to do it. We have to support housing. We need affordable housing. But we can't do it fast and sloppily. It has to be done right.
It means getting out of our comfortable homes and realizing that our job is to reduce the proliferation of slums across Africa.
It's about changing people's lives. It's about touching everybody and trying to improve the life and the opportunity for everybody.
We need to empower the people by making affordable housing in communities available that are sustainable, healthy, livable, and prosperous.
Housing is no more about shelter provision. It's a key tool in creating employment opportunity. It's a key tool in fueling growth and ensuring that we have dynamic multiplier effect in the local economy.
The real challenge that we're addressing at the moment across this continent is shifting investment patterns into the opportunity that is affordable housing.
You're watching Housing Development. Many of the components that make up a building in Nigeria come from China. It is time to support Made in Nigeria for Nigerians by Nigerians. Now, how close can one build a house near electricity, power lines, substation, transformers, or even gas plants? Let's find out with Raphael Adewoye on Voices on the Street.
It's nice to have you join us on this segment, Voices on the Streets. Against the backdrop of the recent mishaps affecting buildings and their inhabitants in the country, today we shall be going out into the streets to ask people if they would prefer to build a house closer to a gas plant or an electricity transformer if given the necessary approval. Come with us as we go into the streets.
Transformer can blow, but for transformer to blow, that means he has carried a lot of weight. He does not blow anyhow. But gas is far, far more dangerous. So we prefer transformer than the gas.
There is no point building on any of them. Both of them are very risky. You build closer to the gas plant, it's risky. Build closer to the transformer, it's very, very risky. So I will advise you to discourage such. If I'm to even pity, let me say electricity, because that one is a little bit minimized.
This high tension, it's not really the main one. They just raised the rod up. The thing now went and touched the high tension. That was the end of that boy that day. Just like it was a bomb. Electricity is more dangerous than the gas plant.
Life doesn't have duplicate. It's either you leave both or it does not necessarily mean that a particular place you are supposed to stay there.
I mean, how can a government approve a land for me close to a transformer or a gas station? It's not possible. I won't accept it.
The two are very dangerous, but to me I prefer that of gas area a little.
I can't build any house near any because that's the most dangerous place. I can't manage anywhere because I know say my life is very risky. My children's life again is very risky.
The perimeter of the transformer, you are safe. But the gas plant, it can explode beyond its own boundary.
I think I will prefer the electricity than the gas plant, because I think electricity is controlled. You can see everywhere there are people that build close to electricity, but on gas plant it's a time bomb, any day, anytime.
It's been a long walk into the streets, and today you had everyday people give their opinions on which they would prefer. But if you ask me, it's like choosing between the lesser of two evils. But then the choice is totally up to you to make. Now we'll take you back to the studios. My name is Raphael Adewoye.
Many thanks, Raphael. All right, moving on. EarthPoint, a professional construction company with focus in real estate and engineering services with proven expertise, is on Spotlight today. Here is an exclusive interview with the MD of EarthPoint.
We have 3 major projects in Abuja. Two at Lifecam actually, Dape area around the Julius Berger Hospital, and then another one at Apodus, a district. The one at Life Camp, we have about 134 units, which comprise 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedroom semi-detached terraces. And we have another one, a smaller one at the same place, but that one has 5 bedrooms, terraces, and blocks of flats. And then the one at Apoduze 2 comprises of 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, blocks of flats, and then 4 bedroom semi-detached terraces. We try to make them as affordable as possible. We consider the limit of the Federal Mortgage Bank, the National Housing Fund. It has a limit of 15 million, so we try to structure the payments or the prices of at least the blocks of flats to the affordable limit of the National Housing Fund. And then we have commercial loans also with commercial banks. Then the 4 bedrooms, which are for the a bit upper prices. So those ones are around 25 to 35 to 40 million. We try as much as possible we boast ourselves as mortgage facilitators, superior mortgage facilitators, because we've been able to provide mortgages that actually worked for our clients. And we try as much as possible to bring down the cost of the houses. The difference is that usually all our projects, we try to maintain them within the city center, close to workplaces, and we are able to beat the prices down. We have a unique feature. We have semi-finished houses. We complete the houses externally to be all uniform, but then we leave the choices of the inner finishings of the houses to the subscribers. So sometimes, usually it is when one wants to afford a house, the price usually scares people out. So we try to bring down the cost of the houses so that with time you can be able to finish your houses within your budget and within your own time. There's a lot of competition, quite honestly, in Abuja now. There are a lot of developers that brand themselves as developers, but I think one needs to be careful. One needs to do due diligence to find out who actually delivers houses and the prices, the competition in prices. We pride ourselves as having the best value per square meter. So you see, the cost of the houses need to match the quality of the houses you're having.
Latest couple in town.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Drinks?
No, we're fine, sir.
How was the moon experience?
It was quite an experience.
How about house?
We are renting at the moment, but we intend to save enough to own our own house, right?
Why not avoid all those Shylock landlords and own a house up front? With the average income and cost of building houses today in Nigeria, mortgage is the best option. No sweat. I tell you what, that was how I got my first house, and I've never regretted it.
To make good homes, and by implication a good society, an individual is expected to have an abode from which to take off and return at the end of each day. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home. Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. With the much inquiries received on the 48 hours fast-track mortgage by Platinum Mortgage Bank Limited, the Executive Director of Platinum Mortgage Banks Limited will enlighten us more.
Platinum Fast Track Mortgage is a unique product to Platinum Mortgage Bank. It was developed here as a result of our experience with providing mortgage services to our customers over a very long period of time. we found out that quite a number of our customers come back to complain about the long processing time, of the regular mortgage loans that you find in the market these days. So as a result of that, they have had very bad experiences in terms of losing their house allocations because of the long period it takes to process mortgage loans. So as a sensitive, customer-centric bank, we went back to the drawing board to put together a product that would guarantee a customer, someone who intends to own his house through mortgage, a product that will guarantee him access to his property within the space of 48 hours, which is the shortest possible time for which one can process a mortgage. So we came up with Platinum Fast Track Mortgage, which is a product that guarantees every intending homeowner who walks into our bank and wants to access a mortgage, the product guarantees him access to his property, his desired property, within the space of 48 hours from the time he meets all the conditions that are required to access the mortgage. There are two aspects of conditions to be met if you intend to own a house through mortgage. First of all is the down payment, which is the equity requirement, which varies from property to property depending on the cost of the property, And then there's also a list of requirements that, in terms of documentation, that you need to meet before you can be guaranteed access to the property. 21 years and above, we need to be sure that you work, and by that you have a regular source of income, whether you're a government worker, a civil servant, a business person, you own your own business and all that. We need to be sure that you have a regular source of income as to be able to repay the mortgage. And then of course we need to be sure that you can afford that mortgage that you're asking for, that it's within your capacity to repay every month. So we request for various documents to verify this, the age, income, and then your capacity. By that we can ask for your pay slip for 6 months if you're someone who works in a structured organization, and then we can also ask for your statement of account for business people who do their own business, self-employed individuals. So there are other documents which will be required of you for the mortgage to be processed, and once those two conditions are met, the down payment requirement and the documentation requirement, you're well on your way to owning your own home. The down payment, there are various terms that are used to refer to down payments. There is equity, there is personal stake, there is down payment. It all refers to the same thing, which is what you as a customer or as an intending homeowner will have to pay, the initial payment you will have to deposit before your mortgage is processed.
Abuja International Housing Show brings an amazing opportunity to exhibit, network, develop new business relationships, and make sales. Here are things you must know about Abuja International Housing Show. The Abuja International Housing Show is Africa's biggest building and construction show, with more than 15,000 participants and over 400 exhibitors from 21 countries. Its large international participation provides excellent opportunities for global sharing of knowledge, expertise, products, and best practices. Abuja International Housing Show brings together industry leaders, investors, buyers, and entrepreneurs to develop markets and business partnerships. The event gives you access to leading-edge technical information, equipment exhibition, and valuable new professional contacts from around the world. It brings participants opportunity to introduce new products and meet the right buyers. The event has paraded the highest number of professionals and government functionaries, including the Vice President, Senate Presidents, State Governors, Ministers, members of the National Assembly, among others. The event creates opportunities for direct engagement with financiers, potential partners, and investors from outside Nigeria. Abuja International Housing Show, the largest housing expo in Africa.
And that is it today for Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain Flora Annie, your Housing Diva.